We are back. After 2 weeks, I think, of not streaming, I'm back in the Grand Ben sweater. You know, fresh Grand Ben sweater. And, fuck, man. I was on vacation, and then I got sick, and then we're here. And I'm not gonna lie, streaming today is mentally difficult. Is it actually difficult? Well, we'll actually get into that, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about on this stream. Among other things, I had some ideas to watch some YouTube videos about music, like other producers talking about music. If you want to watch production videos about music, we could do that too. And stuff related around streaming, making content. If you are in the chat and you have one of those three things, right? So out of the three things, we have music, so music production, music business. We can talk about creating content, so stuff for Instagram, stuff for YouTube. If you have ideas of that you want to share. In fact, there was if I were to make a question, it would be, if you had the time, what content would you make? If you had the time, you had no issues, there was nothing stopping you, like, what content are you striving to make? Do you want to make? Because I can say from my experience that when I make content, it's changing. It's like, I think I have a good idea, or I stray away from an idea, and then next thing I know, I'm onto something else a few weeks later, which is constantly hopping, trying new things, trying to find, I guess, the brand per se, the kind of aesthetic that I'm going for. And maybe other people have been on the same boat. But yeah, one of the things that's been dawning on me recently is just streaming in general. I think it was a few weeks ago. Let me change this music to something more relaxing. This is a bit too upbeat for me. Let's go like spa. I went to a Scandinavian spa, off topic, Scandinavian spa, and this was the kind of music that they were playing the whole time. And this is where we're gonna sit for a bit. So I had like notes written down about streaming, and I wanted to talk about what I kind of realized or learned while I streamed. And there's a video that I shared as well in a playlist on YouTube that we could watch later, and I could share my thoughts. I actually don't remember most of the things that I watched in the past like week or month, despite me being in a mindset of, or despite me absorbing content that has to do with making content and being independent. But I wrote down some notes on streaming, and one of the things that I can say is that it's difficult to focus. It's difficult to... It's funny because when I was, like, in the first couple months, a friend of mine went to me, and he also produces music, and he's like, when you're streaming, is it ever difficult to focus on what you're doing when you have to like divert your attention to the stream, being chat or analytics or whatever? Now, I try not to look at analytics a lot when I stream because it can definitely kill your vibe. But with chat in itself, it's difficult to, like, sometimes. I'm not gonna say all the time, but sometimes it's difficult to hop back on the creative wagon when you're constantly like checking your screen every few minutes. At the time when he asked that question, I said no, it's no big deal. And then as time passed, I realized, you know, it is a different vibe. And I ended up watching another guy talk about it on YouTube, and he said that music is like he likes the privacy of it. To him, writing music is a private activity, and I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that, and I certainly did, because it is. You are in a time slot that you've gave yourself to be by yourself and just focus on the work. And when you invite people into that, I guess subconsciously it can be a bit intimidating. Now, I haven't really felt a lot of intimidation, but if I were to swap that word, it would be pressure. I have felt a lot of pressure with writing music because in times where things are slow, or when a beat doesn't go that well, or when I have like no idea written down, it makes me think, well, fuck, people are probably bored as shit. And I watched a streamer, well, not a streamer, but a very notable lo-fi artist, Bureaucratic, on Bread and Butter. Their Instagram, or Bread and Butter, is essentially, for those that don't know, it is a small division of Chill Hop, where they share some news and they do live streams. Bureaucratic is the main guy that usually does it every Monday, same day as this. He just does it a bit earlier than me. But I remember when I took a week off, I was watching him stream for a bit because I usually always miss it. I'm at work. And he was just making a beat like most of us do. And it was towards the end of the stream because I guess he has a segment in the beginning where they do beat battles. And I've seen a couple people do beat battles on their stream because it creates a lot of traffic and makes people more engaged in the stream, so boosts the numbers up. Gives people a reason to stay. Not saying that you not saying here is not a reason. I value anybody that stays on stream, but from a marketing standpoint, it is a smart move. And after, so I caught him when he was just making music, and his numbers were, from his point of view, relatively higher than average, because he was like, most people that watch me make a beat just dip. I'm like, yeah, they do. They all, like, most people do dip because, again, like, going back to it being a private thing, it is very private. You are so locked into making music that the last thing you want for yourself is to be distracted, and I totally resonate with that. And for a person to watch, unless it's like, you know, constantly in motion and constantly like the pace is relatively good, I can see people being engaged, but for most people that is not the case. And it definitely isn't the case with me, because I definitely have most times where I'm like super locked in. And I actually get very self-conscious because I was like, maybe I'm always fucking like, am I just like not talking enough? Like, am I not speaking my mind? Hey Nesson, how you doing, bro? Welcome. Am I just not talking enough? You know, like, and I was watching Bureaucratic, and I watched other streamers make beats on their streams, and you know, I think I was just judging myself too harshly. Like, the nature of watching somebody make a beat, if I'm being blunt and honest, is very boring. You know, and but the caveat to that is that when you do find somebody that is watching you and they do like what you're doing, it's a more meaningful connection. You know, the people that I've never met, like people that don't follow me at all, like they just stumbled to me on Twitch or on YouTube, because for the past few months I've been streaming on both. And you know, for those that do find me there, it's like, it is impactful. Is it growing? Yes. Is it fast? Hell no. And that's one of the other hard truths that I kind of took with streaming as well, is that the growth is extremely slow. Just chilling, dude. How about you? Well, we're talking about everything with music. So it's music talking, content creation, and wow, I'm blanking out. What's my title? Chat, yeah, it's content creation, streaming, and anything music. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man? Good to see you guys. One of the questions I asked, since you guys are joining in now, is if you had all the time in the world, what kind of content would you be making for your socials? You know, if it was YouTube, if it was TikTok or Instagram, you know, if time was not an issue and you just had that like solid block, and let's just say you were motivated for the sake of it, you know, what kind of content would you guys make? Booty shaking vids? Honestly, man, that'd be the fastest way to possibly make some bank. But you gotta be juiced up though, otherwise you ain't making shit. Because it's you against all the other booty shakers like Nesson, you know? For all you know, Nesson has a dumpy and you have no idea until he puts it out there. And then fuck, you know, Emirates out of business. You know, a whole new genre of OnlyFans is now available and explored. But yeah, that was one of the things I noticed with streaming. Is just by watching other people and then watching myself. Is that it does take away from the privacy. Like when I heard that producer mentioned about privacy, how making music is a very private thing, I was like, yeah, it is. Like you get really sucked into making music, and like that's kind of where you want to focus, because that's where like you've dedicated this time to make to make something, and to be constantly pulled away from it takes you out of the flow. And that goes, and it's not just streaming, that could be anything, right? Like we have issues in our DAWs, we have if we have families, we got, you know, kids we got to look after. That could happen at any point in time, right? Yeah, the blocks we make for our craft are very valuable. So I totally understand where some people come from, where when they think about streaming, they're like, I couldn't do that, because it's a private thing for them. One person that I've noticed making good strides is on Instagram is Noah Nosmo, if that's how you say it correctly. Noah from Hawaii, right? Like he's been making reels consistently, and he has a very consistent aesthetic. It's his daily sketches, you know, his Thursday sketch, his Sunday sketch, and it's just a beat, right? And it's aesthetically, you know, it's visually stimulating because he has it like divided in 3 different slots of 3 different angles, so still shots and 3 different angles. Yeah, his stuff has been up on my TikTok recently. Yeah, so I've been paying attention to that because, you know, he's doing it fairly well. And he's done it consistently. And if you pay attention to his numbers, they're averaging out with his follower count. Now, whether that's his followers or his non-followers is besides the point, because for most of us that post something, your stuff is not being seen by all your followers. Like you don't, if I have 800 followers and I post something, I'm not getting 800. I'm getting like 100, 200, you know. If it's a really bad post, I'm getting like 100 views, and most of them are from my followers. The only time that number goes up is when it's start going into the pool of like on the explore page and people's recommended, you know, those I guess cold fishing, you could call it. You know, our content is constantly evolving. Like we're constantly trying to, well, at least for me, I'm trying to figure out how I want to showcase myself and my art. And there was a video that I want to show you guys in a bit, where a producer named, let me find the name here, John. It's John Makes Beats. His name is John Wayne, and this guy, at, you know, from first glance, I mean, I didn't know who this guy was, but he talks about the title is "We Need More Musicians Making Music on YouTube," and it's this division between how most of us, when we think about music, when we go on YouTube, it's for the conversation of music, not for the creation of music. Like we look for people that would rather talk about it than play it. And he's trying to just define the difference of how, as far as analytics and attention works, you know, the algorithm, which is really just how, like, what the market wants. It falls under like music education more than creativity. That's kind of where I'm at too. I want to put out more content, but I just don't know what. Well, the way I've so from my studies is that you have three buckets to choose from. Um, you know what? Fuck. Let me see if I can pull up my notes. Because one of them is entertainment, the other is education, and then the third one is inspiration. So out of those three buckets, you are supposed to decide what pool do I want to dive into, because if it's education, for example, and you're going to talk about nerdy stuff about music, that's going to attract more producers. And if that's what you want, then that's the kind of content that you would put out. But if you wanted to attract, average fans, people that just, everyday people, then you would want to entertain them, because now you're trying to attract them in a way, like, because they don't understand what a DAW is, they don't understand what we do. They just know music and whether it sounds good or not. So in that sense, the content that you're going to put out has to be really good music, visually entertaining. Like, everything has to do with entertainment. And then inspiring, in my opinion, that falls more towards the producer pool, the musician pool. Because, like, when I think of inspiring, I think of, like, quotes or, new ideas with music production. And that would attract more producers than it would fans, in my opinion. Let me see if I have it here. Jesus. I haven't been on Notion in such a long time, because I haven't really been keeping track of my projects. Actually, I don't really have much projects. I only have one at the time. But when it comes to entertainment, I look at Noah, right? I look at Nosmo, or Kalen Ellis, Mad Keys, these guys have put out beat making videos. And if you guys want to watch a video around that, there's a producer that I saved by Hunter Jr., Jan Hunter Jr., and he goes through the process of how he edits his viral music, how he edits his beat videos. Now, it might go through, his editing process, which I think may be helpful, but at the end of the day, it's just, what is he thinking when he's recording his beat, Kalen Ellis also made a similar video as well, showcasing that too. But I'll show you guys the one video by John Wayne. We'll look at that briefly. Let me pull that up right now. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Never mind, it was just an itchy nose. Alright. Let me just make sure oh, missing files. That's not good. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, We Need More Musicians by John Wayne Beats. This video came out 12 days ago. It 47,000 views. And you'll realize why that's significant in a second. But yeah, this guy's done a lot of work prior to me. Like, I don't know nothing about this guy, but I watched a YouTube video by Weaver react to this video. who shared his thoughts about being private and with music. That's who I got it from. But yeah, anyway, enough talking. We'll just watch the video.
Here's the irony of this video. I predict this will get more traction than my average music making video. And that's because this type of video appeals to more people. Why is...
And it did. 47,000 views. And his other videos I checked, they have like half, if not less. But yeah, anyway.
That? Why is talking about music in the music business more appealing to audiences than music itself? We'll get more into that in a second, but the fact is, this is what people think they want when they go on YouTube. And if you're a video maker who focuses on music and making music, it might be tempting to just talk about music because that's what folks respond to the most. I've been there. I want to be clear, we need stuff like video essays on music and criticism and talks about the business. We need deep dives on specific gear to use and how to use it, and we need your opinions. If that's what's in your heart of hearts, to make videos talking about what it's like to be an independent musician in 2024 or what the new synthesizer is, more power to you, because all of it is needed and essential. But I'm here to tell you that if you have a desire to do the music part here and you wish you could do that, I'd like to try to inspire you today. I know how tough it is to do this. I know how tempting it is when you're on YouTube to skew your efforts towards what you know will work, because when you do what YouTube likes, you really get rewarded for it. It gets you pushed out to more people, you get more time in the sunshine, and opportunity starts knocking at your door. It's great. And when you don't do what YouTube likes, well, your stats and opportunities can dry up. In spite of...
I felt this a lot too when I was doing, as like posting reels, when I was taking splits from my stream, stuff that I genuinely thought was funny and entertaining, or really just lighthearted, and I post it and it would flop. And the thing is that for reels in general, like there was only one reel that I posted that had like actual like drama with low pills, and that went up simply because there was drama. And the second thing that would have made that popular was, or the second bucket of content that would have made me have more views, is inspiration, like he's about to do, or education, like some sort of value that I could have gave. But for the content that I'm looking at going back, there's not much that I'm actually giving a value. Like I'm just showing my authentic self, which is fine. Like I have no problem doing that. I love being me, but when it comes to trying to pull people in, it's relatively pointless. It's great for you guys. I'm glad that you guys love me, But the guy that doesn't know me, he'd be like, what the fuck is this? Unless like it was really unhinged. Like booty shaking. I digress.
Of all that, we still need to show audiences what being a musician is all about. And I believe that there is a lot of potential in making music creation as interesting and engaging as anything else on the platform. So before we go any further, let me share with you my experience. I've been on this website for a little over 2 years. Before I started, I put out a call on my socials for an editor and found Schnoodle, who edits my videos to this day. My first video was shot with a single point and shoot camera, though I could have just used my iPhone. I jerry-rigged it to sit over a table I found on the side of the road. I showed how I made a song on the Polyend tracker, and I uploaded it, I kid you not, on the 4th of July, which, if you don't know, a holiday is one of the worst possible times to upload a video. I learned from that. After that, I uploaded another, and then I uploaded another. And the reception from people was warm, but it wasn't having the spread or impact I thought it would. It wasn't long before I realized, oh, I have a lot of work to do on this format. I needed to do something more in order to make this engaging for viewers, but also to make it sustainable for myself, because, I wasn't making any money on it. So I invested in a second point and shoot. I set them up as USB webcams and had my editor edit live streams I did on Twitch into watchable videos. And it took 8 months of indifference until things finally started picking up and we found our stride. Since then, I've been through several iterations of style and presentation, but the heart
8 months of iteration. Like I've been streaming since January. Maybe being off for like uh about maybe like a month total or like 3 weeks. But yeah, oh my god, my throat is like dying. Sorry, I'm like getting over whatever the fuck I had last week. But yeah, 8 months to figure that out, to figure his own like, style. I'm sitting here being like, well, fuck, like I've been doing this for I think 8 9 months, and like I said earlier, if you were here on the stream, that like streaming itself is a very slow paced thing. Like you don't get the kind of reach. What he's doing is a bit more. He's gonna reach a larger pool faster, but again, it took him like 8 months of trial and error, and who knows how consistent he was during that time too.
of the channel has always remained the same, and the changes I've made to my set and my approach over time has only served to get closer to the thesis of my channel. I've spent countless hours through trial and error trying to find out how the process of making music could be as valuable to my audience as it could be. And I'm just a single video maker. There are so many on the platform that are similar to me, and we all have our own styles and storytelling and tone and pacing. Something I do notice though amongst most of these channels is their view counts are relatively low. There's outliers, sure, but there's a lower average among those who show compared to those who tell. So what's the problem? This is the part of the video where I'm expected to say the problem with doing this on YouTube is the algorithm. But the algorithm is just a reflection of everyone who uses the website. YouTube doesn't have a mind of its own with secret rules and preferences. It's just picking up on the psychology of its users, which is kind of a harsh truth when the algorithm isn't being kind to you. That sort of means that people don't like what you're doing and what you have to offer, right? Well, I mean, not really. It's showing the user what it thinks they want to see. And what people want to see is something that will provide value to them, whether that means entertainment or information. Audiences need to be sold on watching you even before they start watching you, because the first thing they see from you is a thumbnail and a title. So you upload your video and all of a sudden it has to compete with, 200 videos that show up on their feed alongside yours. And
yeah, so we've touched on that too. Like when you post something, right, you're going with look at these, like he used suggested videos like down here as well, but like this one, the downfall of home recording, like it's those kind of titles that you're competing against when you post your own content, and that goes for shorts as well. Like every short has like really good shorts or Instagram reels. Their hook like really fucking catches you in. Like it's like a 3-tip thing or something in 30 seconds or something very unhinged. It's meant to do that. And so when you have something that you put out that doesn't have that kind of spice, you can lose attention very quickly.
They're judging them all by the title and thumbnail. Here's the problem with that. How do you sell a song without being able to play it? How do you make that more appealing than a video that has a talking point that can be pitched in the title? How do we compete with the novelty of shifting conversation? The uphill climb of showing music being made on YouTube is it requires more commitment and curiosity from your audience to see it through. The promise of what you're delivering is more abstract and the payoff is more subjective. It requires you to show up and deliver time and time again and get it to the point where your audience isn't showing up because of the title and thumbnail. They're showing up because they know you deliver. And at that point, it doesn't matter how you hook them. They just know it's going to be good. And that is when you move beyond the game of this website. And all that's left is a place where you can share what makes you fulfilled with people who will appreciate it. So we need you. We need musicians who want to make videos, making videos about making music. We need you for one big reason: advancement. Showcasing the music process as a story is a relatively underdeveloped concept. It's one that begs to be evolved through trial and error. As good as you think music process videos can be now, they're nowhere near where they could be in 10 years. What we have to do as musicians who make videos is work together, sharpen each other's swords, and work to make the process of making music more rewarding for the audience. YouTube isn't against the pursuit of showing artistic process. We, by and large, are failing to make our processes as engaging as the prospect of a video essay. If it will take 10 people 100 years to figure it out, it'll take 100 people 10 years. I mean, the math might be off, but you get what I'm saying. We need more vision. We need more examples, and it won't be easy. I know how discouraging it can be to pour your heart into something artistic, to get it just right, where the visuals match your intentions or whatever medium you're working with, something that you really love and speaks to something greater, and you're about to share it to the world, and you do, and it just absolutely does nothing. And then you make a video or a post or whatever right afterward ranting about how that did poorly, and then that thing goes gangbusters. Support
Drama.
starts pouring in over how others feel that things should have done better and all kind. What are you supposed to think when that happens to you? It's easy to make connections that ultimately steer you away from sharing the very things you're most passionate to share with others. It might have failed the first time, but that just means the presentation requires polishing. The angles require sharpening. The audience is always changing, and we have to change with them. I'm a firm believer that music as a visual medium, including the meta of turning the music process into the art itself, has just as much potential as anything else that we can do. The frontier is vast and mostly unexplored, which can be intimidating, but that should be actually exciting to us. We're a long way from figuring it out. There's no doubt that translating what we do to video can be clunky, but I do think that my journey to week after week refine what it truly means to turn the act of making into the make itself is important, as well as the other people on here who are working hard to crack the same code. Who knows? Maybe we'll inspire someone who will take what we have to offer and build on it in a way that only we could imagine. I hope that's the case, but we have to prove to our audiences that it's just as rewarding to see someone else create than it is to just talk about creation, or talking about the logistics of the business of creation, or the psychology of creation. We need to prove that showing is just as integral as telling. We need to show them that they can get just as much from seeing someone put something together as being told how to do it themselves. I want to turn the comment section of this video over to you. If you know a channel, big or small, that deserves a shout for what they're doing on YouTube regarding bringing their own musical process to viewers, give them one. I want this to serve as a sort of hub for those who are looking for more of it. And if you're watching this as a musician who's either looking to get into all of this, or somebody who already has a channel who wants to branch out, please do it, because it may not feel like it at the moment, but we all stand to benefit from you breaking your own personal ground. Thank you for watching.
I've had a handful of jobs in my life, and every time I would...
Yeah. This is, this guy is all about content creation. I watched him for talking about, well, this is escaping the 9-to-5 trap, but, you know, again, just as John was talking about, you know, you are competing against other titles. Another great example. Actually, all of these are great examples. You know, the cleanest, most accurate EQ possible. Cleanest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just YouTube we're talking about. Now you get into now you get into like Instagram and TikTok, and now you're trying to do that in a fraction of the time. Like, now it's not just a thumbnail, now it's like when they swipe on you, the first 3 things that come out of your fucking mouth better be enticing. And I feel for most of us, we're afraid to do that because we don't want to be like sellouts or something, or be cliche or fake to be somebody. But, you know, just like John said, like there's polishing that has to be done on our work or our ideas. So Like when I think about my setup, right? He talked about multiple angles. I'm like, well, I could incorporate more angles. I have 3 tripods sitting here, and I have a webcam and another, like an iPhone 6 sitting around. And now it's just about, what do I want to convey with those 2 extra cameras? Does it benefit the stream or does it benefit another idea like beat making? Beat making is something that I'm constantly thinking about, but I always push it to the side because of the times that I've done it and how tedious it can be. But that just comes with the work, right? Like, I'm just bitching about the work. And if I were to make a video about me bitching about it, it might blow up. Just because people love to hear others complain and criticize and just hear drama. Like, generally, what do you guys all think about that kind of stuff? Because that is... There was another one. Uh, 5 easy tips. How to talk to 0 viewers on Twitch. I think I watched that. I didn't even finish it. I didn't even finish that video. Should we watch it? Because I was talking to Steezy, I was talking to Steezy about publishing, because for those that don't know, Purity Label has a publishing site now. And if your work is not signed under isn't registered yet or published, either by your own or somebody else, you can make a deal with Purity. And he asked me, like, out of the songs that I've released with him or with the label, which ones do I want? Are there any that I want to be part of the publishing side? And I'm like, well, I got 3 available. All of them have collaborators on it. And I go and message the 3. And wait, was it more than 3? No. Well, there was a couple people that I talked to outside of the 3, and a lot of them did not know what I was talking about, which kind of shocked me a bit, because I was like, this is money that we all deserve, right? And they're like, oh, is that part of DistroKid, or is that a distributor? And I'm like, no, it's an organization that you register with in your own country, and they collect royalties on your behalf that are separate from what DistroKid or Dashgo collect. This is a separate thing entirely. And they're like, oh, I don't think I'm registered. And I'm like, you should do that ASAP. You should, if it has a fee, pay that fee. Don't go for Song Trust. I've heard people that go for Song Trust. I did Song Trust. It's garbage. Do not do it. The organization in your country will collect internationally on your behalf. It is not. You don't need a third party. You just go to the organization in your country. I think the hardest part for me is trying to not get in my head and think people will judge me or something. Yeah, the judgment, the self-criticism that we definitely all face. Man, I was talking to my girlfriend about this too, because like she was asking me, I can't remember what we were talking about. It was about like, how do I essentially not care about the things that would stop you, or like would stop me. Why not song trust? Out of curiosity, I've just heard a lot of bad reviews about payments and customer feedback or customer service. It's dog water. To even try and get out of it is very difficult. I haven't tried it myself, so I'm solely just speaking on what I've read and what I've heard from people. But it's at the end of the day, you don't need song trust. You can literally just register it with. So if you're in the States, you have ASCAP and BMI. Then you have, I think it's Resound or Sound Exchange. One of those two is Canadian. The other one is the American one. You only need to sign up for those two. As long as you have an organization that collects your performance royalties and your mechanicals, you're good. You don't need a third party. But anyway, Diana was talking to me about something, and she was like, I can't remember what the topic was, but she was like, how do you do it? Like, how do you just not care about it? It's not that I don't care. It's like that I don't get phased or bothered by things, like that self-criticism doesn't like affect me as much. I mean, it still does. I mean, filming myself definitely has its drawbacks, but I mean, because I hear what you're saying about like judging the judge that we have on ourselves can be so internalized that it becomes our own battle, and it takes steps to get out of it, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. but well, to take it kind of like in a different route, today I was thinking about my health, and I've always thought about just tracking my calories just for the sake of knowing, just for information. And the only reason why I was hesitant from doing it was because I was I don't know, I guess a bit of afraid or maybe lazy, combination of the both of the two. And I just wanted to, but I eventually like today I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like the only thing, like if I start now, I'll just know. And I can say in that moment that when I downloaded the app and when I just started putting in information, I could feel like my shoulders getting lighter. Because I just did it, It's like we put more weight on ourselves the longer we think about it, and the longer we have that self-critic building up inside. But then once you do it, you're like, oh, fuck. It's not so hard. I can do this again. And then you face new challenges like consistency and repetition and flow, and then you have good days, you have bad days, all that shit. I've been with Song Trust and I don't think I've had any issues. Hard to say since I don't fully understand publishing. So from my understanding, publishing happens, for the organizations that connect your royalties, right? So the main three that you really focus on is performance, mechanicals, and sync. So assuming that you're doing this all independently, so in Canada, performance royalties is songs that, it's a royalty that you collect when your song has been played publicly. So at any like venue, that could be at a grocery store or an arena, and Spotify also, like streaming services, do pay out performance royalties as well, in conjunction with the streaming royalties as well. So there's that part of publishing. The other part that's collected, that's part of publishing, is mechanical. Mechanical royalties is the right to copy and duplicate your work. Spotify needs to have that right as well, because people can download your music if they are a premium member. And before streaming right, there was CDs, so that right had to be given as well. So those two alone are paid out by DSPs and are collected by separate agencies, or in some cases, depending on the country, only by one. But for Canada, if I wanted my performance royalties collected, I register with SOCAN, SOCAN. And if I wanted to get my mechanicals collected, I believe that is Sound Exchange. Let me double check that right now. Resound. What's Resound? Yeah, so I would sign up for Resound and SOCAN, and that way I would have. I believe I'm correct on this. Hold on a second. So Resound represents, let me just show you here. Resound represents the rights of artists and recording companies, the people who create sound recordings, while SOCAN does the same for composers and music publishers, the people who created the compositions that are embedded in those sound recordings. So composition of the sound recording and who actually created the sound recording. Yeah, so you would sign up with both of those to get, one would collect the performance, the other one would collect the mechanical. Now, if you sign up with Song Trust, right? Song Trust claims they say that they'll do that for you on your behalf internationally. Now, the ones that I just showed you, SOCAN and Resound, for Canadians, they do that anyway. They collect on my behalf internationally regardless. So there's really no point to set to Song Trust, because they take fucking 15%. So these organizations take nothing, at least not in Canada, because they get venues like SOCAN. The venues pay them. They pay them for the license to play whatever they want, right? So if the Rogers Center wanted to play music, they need to have a license. If Superstore wanted to play music in their grocery store, they have to get a license. and they're paying SOCAN that license. And then for sync royalties, that is, again, assuming you're independent in this example, you're going to create a contract for the company that wants to use your music for video or some sort of visual format. So, for example, I had somebody contact me to use a couple or about 3 songs for a school video. Like, the client was a teacher, and in that agreement, you're setting the price because you own the rights to the song. You own 100% of it, so you set the price. You would. So I told her, like, based off of the popularity of the song, based off the how many songs she wanted, who the client is, right? If it was a bigger client, like, you know, a major, if it was like Coca-Cola, you know what I mean, like, the fee for that might be higher because they could effectively pay for it, right? But if it's for somebody like a teacher, you know, their budget's not going to be as high as Coca-Cola, so I'm not going to gouge them. It's a negotiation between you and the person who wants to do that, and then you would set up the contract, and you would say, you know, you have this song attached to this video, and it's only tied to that one video, right? It's not for whatever they want. Any video is tied to that one video. Think of film, right? You write a song for a film, that music is tied to that film. They can't use that song anywhere else. It's tied to the film. Now, you as the artist may own the rights to that song because you wrote it, right, in the contract, but the license that you are giving to the client is to that specific video. And then you would set the term, like, you'll have the ownership, that license will be tied to that work in perpetuity, meaning forever, or you'll be tied to it for a year or 2 years. There was a song by Poet of the Falls tied to the video game Alan Wake, and the game, I think, I can't remember if it came back, but I remember it got erased, it got removed from Steam and Xbox, and like all the, like, it was removed from stores because the license of the music that was tied to the game was going to expire. So the game had to be removed. What tea did you miss? I just gave Nesson a whole fucking lesson about publishing. Told him to ditch Song Trust and just register shit yourself. Register, figure out what organizations you have, because I think BMI does performance. I'm not sure if they do mechanicals, if they collect that, but I mean, even if you don't know, fucking Reddit, bro. Reddit will be your friend. I don't think any musician on a thread would. Song Trust is busted. Honestly, I just think it's fucking pointless to have Song Trust. Why give somebody 15% of your royalties when you have organizations that just do it for fucking free? They already collect internationally. Let me just am I gonna fact check myself? It's a $100 fee, but they also take 50%. at whatever they collect. They tell you this right from the start when you sign up. There we go. Right here. I understand the concept of international royalties. What constitutes international royalties? International royalties refer to the payments collected from the use of an artist's work in a foreign country. This could be the royalties occurred from music streaming services, television or radio play performances at live events, and sale of physical copies such as CDs. They are considered as compensation for the author's intellectual property rights, the copyright, rewarding creators for their creativity and hard work. Fuck yeah, man. Administering international royalties involves a complex network of intermediary agencies and reciprocal agreements between different countries. Performance rights organizations, pros, so that's like SOCAN, which is right there, play a crucial role in this process. Pros like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC in the US or SOCAN in Canada collect royalties on behalf of authors and publishers for public performances of their music. In the context of international royalties, these pros have reciprocal agreements with counterpart organizations in different countries. For instance, if an American artist's music is performed in Germany, the Germany pro could collect the royalties on that and then pass on to the American author's pro, which would then distribute the royalties to the artist. These agreements ensure that artists are compensated no matter where their work is used. There is no fucking point to song trust. I never had to pay anything because Steezy had a deal thing with Song Trust on Purity back in like 2021. I'm not sure if he still uses that. But see, I don't understand how that would work with Purity, because before the publishing arm that was released, it wasn't released in 2021. It was released this year. So that's confusing. You might want to clarify that with him. Because Steezy would not have, at that time, he would not have, or he shouldn't have, tied your music to Song Trust, like published it to Song Trust. Or maybe, unless he did it on his behalf, like on his own account. Like if you guys collaborated on the song together. Because from a label standpoint, he wouldn't have done that. But if he was a collaborator and you guys share the rights as songwriters, then yeah, he could register the song to Song Trust. But you know, just like this paragraph right here, it's like, so the challenges in collecting international royalties. Although the system of collecting international royalties sounds straightforward, it often poses significant challenges for artists seeking to receive their rightful earnings. Complications can arise due to factors such as varying royalty rates among countries, time-consuming processes, and the lack of transparency in collection and distribution by some overseas collection societies. Now, people will say in Song Trust that they're not that transparent either. Like, it's a lot of automation. You can do the research yourself, but this is what I've heard, and it's like Reddit fucking shit talks Song Trust all the time. It's like, oh my, I never realized how bad it was. Just like Unesson, like I didn't think it was that big of a fucking deal. But I'm like, shit, maybe I'll just do it myself. I went to Song Trust myself. He didn't require me to. Like, it wasn't for a purely release or anything. Oh. So you just didn't have to pay? That sounds like hacks. Moreover, understanding different tax treaties, withholding rates, and customary practices in different countries can be daunting. As a result, many artists may not collect their international royalties fully or on time, leading to substantial financial losses over time. To overcome these obstacles, artists are advised to partner with professional representatives or royalty collection societies that specialize in international royalty selection. They must also be proactive in learning about their rights as well as the mechanisms governing royalty collection in different regions. This is so AI. This is fucking... Oh my god. When was this written? Oh. Yeah, that totally makes sense. This is AI too. That's crazy. Is this credible? No, I think it is. Because this isn't like new information to me, at least. One of the main aspects that make collecting international royalties important for artists is the ability to significantly enhance their revenue stream. Royalties serve as a consistent source of income derived from the artist's creative work, compensating for their time, talent, and expertise, yada yada. As an artist expands their reach globally, the potential audience enhance the potential earnings from royalties, although grow exponentially. Beyond the monetary advantages, gathering international royalties allows artists to measure their global recognition and popularity. The distribution and consumption of their work as international markets provides valuable insights into where their music resonates most. This can guide their future releases and even tour locations, helping streamline their global strategy. Now this is helpful information. It was back in 2022 I found the announcement in the Purity Club section. Oh, really? Is that when that's when the publishing arm came out? What do you mean? What came back in 2022? The publishing for Purity? What is this? Understanding the function of CMOs. When content crosses international boundaries, these organizations cooperate with their international counterparts to ensure royalties are collected effectively. This helps provide comprehensive coverage and ensures that artists receive what they are rightfully owed. The process of international royalty collection. When an artist's work is performed internationally, the CMO, where the performance occurred, collects the royalties. This then passed onto the CMO in the artist's home country, which in turn distributes to the artist. Okay, this is PROs or CCSs, copyright collection societies. Is that a separate thing? What's it called again? Copyright collection societies. That's like, oh, collective management organizations. That's what they're called. See, isn't that the same fucking thing? Songtrust had reached out to Steezy and had offered discounts to label artists to help with label. Oh, right. Right. I think, yeah. I remember that happening. I think at the time I already registered, so I was like, didn't apply. That's why my brain erased it. Yeah, so these are all the... So in Canada, I just found this now. This is all the collective agencies in Canada. So this is all the audiovisual, multimedia, educational rights, literacy works, dramatic works, and then if I go down to music, here we'll see actor performers rights. I think this is for musicians. For eligible recording artists for over 10 years, equitable ruminations monies are received through tariffs. Then there's a bunch here. CMRRA is, I actually was incorrect. This one is for mechanical. It's Canadian musical reproduction rights. So mechanical is the right to reproduce. That's what these guys collect. They collect that royalty. And there's Resound, M-Rock. There's a bunch here. Musicians' rights collects and redistributes to its musicians royalties and ruminations flowing from Resound. This money rises out of radio airplay, public performance, and private copying, the blank CD levy, so just like a blanket license of sound recording in which musicians have performed. This is strictly, I believe this one is specifically for musicians performing your music. This is how they get paid. Like their royalty, which is interesting. Yeah, so there's a bunch, and if I were to try to do that for the States, let me see if I can help you guys out here in USA. First thing that comes up, bro, when I do that, Song Trust. That's crazy. Oh god. Now, the thing is, like, you know, like that article was saying, how it's, you know, difficult with collecting international. I don't know how true that is, because I think as people that registered, how effectively can we track it, you know? Like, you'll never really know. Unless you would like to contact these agencies and then get an Excel spreadsheet and have somebody do the numbers, because fuck, I ain't doing it. Way more than I expected. There's a shit ton, man. I think a lot of people in the States gravitate more towards BMI. Don't quote me though. I'm not American. But yes, CMOs, so in this article, CMOs and pros today. So the former is subtype of the latter. CMOs cover licensing performance rights and mechanical rights and collecting royalties based on them. Pros only deal with performance rights and do not include mechanical rights as part of their working field. So in this case, if you're wondering who will help with mechanical royalties, if you're only a member of a pro, then you need to join an MRO. Sorry. Does she list any of these? Continue reading. Oh, that's it. All right, that was a short-lived article. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, if you just take the time to research, you could probably effectively do this yourself and get rid of the middleman. You know what I mean? Like, the middleman is already the organization that's in your country, and they're likely going to take nothing from you, rather than do song trust and lose 15%. And I guarantee you, like, signing up will take a few minutes. The approval might take a bit longer, but at the end of the day, it'll be worth it in the long run. One of my collaborators, he's in Jamaica. He had no idea, or he wanted to do publishing with Purity, and we couldn't go through with it because he wasn't signed. And to no fault of his own, there was like BMI, I believe, has a fee to be a member. But even when I looked up the one in Jamaica, the process to register with them has to be handwritten. Like, you have to physically go there. It's not done online. So every country is different. Yeah, I don't know. Song Trust. I've also heard bad stuff about TuneCore. I don't know what the fuck that's about. And then DistroKid's been under hot water too. Especially with Spotify's whole changes with bot activity and people's music being tossed out. Like, I'm not all about the whole DIY campaign. Like, I personally do not see myself, for most people being a smart move to just like take your music off of streaming platforms and just strictly do Bandcamp and whatnot. I think reach is important, and accessibility. Yeah, it's almost 9. I'm gonna call it a night. My throat is still recovering from whatever the hell I did. I got like sick for like 2 days. It wasn't like the worst thing, but it sucked, you know, like anything does. But I got over it relatively quickly, and now it's just like this lingering like grogginess that I feel in my throat. Fucking sucks. I've been talking for an hour and a half? Yeah. 2 hours? No. Hour and a half. 7:30? Yeah. Hour and a half. Quick math. Quick time. But yeah, that was it. I wanted the stream to just be more talking than anything. But I will say, like, I don't know, streaming to me it's nice. I want to do more. But I'm not sure if I need to give something up to put something else in its place. I don't know. The you know, like, I think the whole theme around this stream has just been, you know, if you want something to change, you just do it now. Get it off your shoulder, get it out of your mind, put it to action, and it'll be easier down the road. No problem, man. Anytime. Do your research, figure out the organizations that you need to be signed up on, and double check your releases. Make sure that they're registered, because you'll get paid quarterly with these guys. They don't pay you monthly or every other month. They pay you quarterly. I get 50 cents from my performance royalties, so you know. And I would give, what's 15% of 50 cents? Fucking, god damn it. 50. Oh god. Fucking. Give them. That makes no fucking sense. That's not math. I don't know what it is anymore. I don't care. Either way, they're not getting my 50 cents. I think I still can get money from Song Trust. I could take money out from them, but moving forward, I just wanna, like, when I release stuff on my own, or if I release with a label and I have the rights still, there's no publishing involved, I'll just register it myself, because it's just a smarter move. Anyway, thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna go drink a fuck ton of water, preferably not cold, because I don't think cold's helping my throat. Cold water is painful. And I will see you all next Monday. I don't know if we'll just keep talking, or maybe we'll make a beat. Or maybe I'll do something more interactive. Should probably post it on Instagram. You know, how do I create like an inbox or a hub where people can just submit their shit? We can listen to your work in progress, your whips. Because I've seen a couple guys do it, and they actually can like grab the stems and like collaborate, which is crazy. I'm not sure what that software is though, but something to think about. Work in progress stream would be sick. Yeah, I think it's the way. I think it's the way. Okay. You all have a good night. I'm gonna go get ready for bed. God, I'm so fucking tired. Alright, good night.